everybody, it's Micheline from Micheline Makes again with another vlog for you, and this follows on very quickly from the one that I've just done about the Jenny dungarees. I wanted to get this in because it starts off with a little bit of a story, and I thought you might be interested to hear about it. Around about a couple of months ago, I got an email from one of my subscribers, and her name was Loriann Payne. Now, Loriann lives in, as I found out, Oregon, USA, or Portland, Oregon, or near Portland, Oregon. And she sent me a message and said that she was writing to all the ones, she watched a lot of vlogs. She sent me a message and said she watched a lot of vlogs, of the sewing vlogs, and she loved quite a lot. I think she said she watches about 40 or 50, I can't remember, maybe it's even more, and I have to say I do the same. And she wanted to come to England, and she asked if she could meet up with me, and she was going to arrange to meet up with a few other vloggers that she liked to watch, and she's doing a tour of the UK. She said she was going to be doing a tour of the UK with her husband. I have to say that Loriann is a well-travelled lady. She is she's retired, a young 62, I believe she said, and her husband Larry is a young 67. He's younger than me. Oh no, he's not. He's about the same age as me. But she travels a lot, but this was the first time. Most of her travels have been sort of like cruises and other things like that, cruises and package tour type thing. But this was the first time she was going to do this sewing trip around UK. And when I asked her what she was doing, what she planned to do, she said she was going to be arriving in London. She's basically here for almost the whole of November, and she goes back on November the 29th. So she's still in the country, and you may actually see her on some vlogs. She's just been on Jewy Sewy's vlog, and so this is what she told me that she was going to be doing. She was going to be, first of all, she was going to be arriving in London, stopping in Reading, and then she was going to go to sewisfaction, and I gather she bought some fabric there, and she thought it was great. She had a browse around, I think they had something to eat in a cafe, and then from there they went back into London, and they then went to visit Lisa Comfort, and her and her husband went across to see Lisa's new shop, and I think she made 2 visits. She went on the Tuesday and then on the Wednesday, and she bought more fabric, and she had so much more fabric she had to buy a suitcase to cater for it all. Then she said that they were going to come up to, I live in Darlington, there's not really much for her to see in Darlington, so I said why not meet in York, because there's York Cathedral, and there's the York Train Museum, and York's a quaint place. And then, so I said, what are you doing? And she said she was going to meet up with me on the Friday. They were going to take the train up to York on the Thursday, stop in a hotel on the Thursday night, meet us on the Friday, and then on the Saturday morning they were going to go to Leeds, and from Leeds Jewy Sewy was at a conference in Leeds, so she offered to take them from Leeds across to where Jewy lives in the Lake District, and from what I can gather they stopped in a hotel, a little quaint hotel, the Spotted Dog I think it was, in near Cockermouth. And then Jewy and her family took them up to Vindolanda, because Loriann's husband Larry is a keen archaeologist, and so they decided to go up and see that. And Jewy, on the day, I think it was before they actually went, but Jewy managed to do a little vlog to show her viewers all of the fabrics that Loriann had purchased to that date. She is spending more, so she's going to have to, I think that she's going to have to take more with her. But
Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Jo and this is Loriann and this is Jewy Sewy. Today we are going to talk all about Loriann and fabric.
This was her, she told me, I'm reading it off here, off my phone. This was her planned journey. Now I've got to take my glasses off because I can't see otherwise. And my phone's gone off. She said they were going to the Lake District on the Saturday to meet up with Jewy Sewy, then to Bristol to take a class with the Stitch Sisters, and then on Friday, I think it's this Friday, or today's Thursday, I think it's tomorrow night, she's going to attend the socialite soiree. Then to Birmingham to meet Lauren from Guthrie and Garney. Then to Brentwood, Essex to take a class with Sean from Kittenish Behaviour and Claire from Beautiful Things, and attend the Stitchers social. And then they're taking a breath there and for a while, a couple of days, and then they're off to the Isle of Wight with Sean to meet her parents, and then back to Burford to meet with Annika from Made to Sew. And she forgot to mention Wokingham to meet Shona. That was it, Shona's sewisfaction, which she saw at the start. Don't think Shona was there. I don't think she was very well that day. And then she was hoping to meet lots of other vloggers because she was keen to meet them all. She has a trip planned with Claire for Beautiful Things, and they're going to spend the day at the Gold Hawk Road shops. And then in between all that, they're fitting in visits to the British Museum, castles, cathedrals, and along the way. Now, when she told me what she was doing, I just said, "Oh my goodness me!" I said, If that was England, we'd say that was a mammoth trip. But she's so used to travelling, she didn't seem to think it was that bad. But poor Larry is helping her to lug these suitcases around. Larry, I think you deserve a medal at the end of all this, helping her to lug all those suitcases full of English fabric. And she is so delighted with what she's bought. She keeps putting things up on her Facebook page and on her Instagram page of what she's bought and who she's met. She's so excited about it all. It's really nice to see. Unfortunately, I was hoping I could vlog with her, but we didn't get much chance to, because we went for a walk around the cathedral and then a little walk through the town, and then we went for a meal, and we sat and talked for such a long time at this meal that we forgot to take any videos. And there is a little video that she got her husband to take. It's a little bit blurred. I've tried to lighten it up a bit and sharpen it up a bit, so I don't know what it's going to come out like. There's a couple of pictures of me and of Loriann and I sitting smiling and saying, hi. But I think you might, if you're aware of Loriann, she really is a lovely person, and so is Larry. Poor Larry has a hip problem. He should really get a hip replacement, and she is, as I say, they're pulling these suitcases all over the place. And it must be absolutely, I know what it's like going down to visit my daughter 5 hours away on the train, and I'm only just changing from King's Cross to the Underground and from the Underground to Waterloo, and when I get off at the other end I only have about 50 yards to walk, and I'm absolutely shattered. So, and that's with one little case, so to be lugging all these other cases around, it must be quite exhausting. So anyway, as I say, I'll put this little video up.
Hi everybody! Hope you're having a nice day, as Lisa Tucker would say.
Yeah, hope you're having a nice day. Hi!
I'm here with Mishu from Mishu Makes. Another dream became a reality today. We've had such a wonderful day.
We certainly have. We have a wonderful day. And a lovely meal.
Yes. Bye everybody. See you later.
Bye! I'm sorry it's gone darker because I've just added this and I've turned the lighting off that I have here. My husband decided that we would go by train to York. So we drove from here to the station, and we parked in the car park by the station. Now his car has been acting up lately, and it's been, I think it's a computer problem, but you get in the car and the alarm goes off to tell you the car door's open, even though all the car doors are shut. So he has to keep getting out the car and closing one door, closing the other, closing another one, closing the boot, closing the other doors, and he couldn't get the alarm to go off. And the number of times we've gone all the way down to Leeds and back, an hour and a half journey there, an hour and a half journey back to go and visit his mother, and we've had this ding, 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 ding going all the way down and all the way back. And then the next day he said, right, well, on the way back he said, right, I'm going to take this to the garage. And then the following morning we're getting the car and the alarm stops. There's no alarm. So anyway, this particular day we were going to the station, and we took the car, and he went off to get a ticket for the car park, and I started heading up the bank towards the station. And I waited at the top of the bank and he didn't come, and I'm thinking, I'd been with him when he got the ticket, so I knew that all he had to do was stick the ticket in the car and then come up. So he didn't come, and I'm looking at my watch, and it was 25 to 12, and we were supposed to be getting the 2 minutes past 12 train. So in the end I went back and I looked down the bank and where the car park was, and he's going like that and waving to me and saying, come here, come here. So I went back down and I said, what's the matter? He said, I can't lock the door. And he said, we can't leave the car in the car park with one door open. And I went, oh, right, okay, well, we'll just go home. And he said, no, he says, we'll drive round to the garage, because we have a garage round, probably a block along from the station. He said, we'll drive around the garage and we'll leave the car at Lee's, and then we'll walk back to the station. So we drove round the garage, handed the keys to Lee and said, Lee, the alarm's gone off, we can't stop it, it's just going berserk. Not only was the alarm going off, but all the doors were clicking open and shut, and ding, ding, dong, ding, dong, ding, bing, 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 ding, dong, ding, dong, ding. And so we said, we left it in Lee's capable hands, and he said, well, when are you going to come back for it? And he said, I might not get it done. And I said, oh, we don't really need it till Monday. But I said, Brian's got his guitar stuff in the back of the car, so I think he had an amplifier or something. And I said, we don't want to leave it overnight. So Lee had said he'd put it in the garage. But he said, he says, I'll be here tomorrow morning from 10 till 11:30. So if you want to come and get the car, then I might not have had a chance to look at it, but you can come. And if I have had the chance, then fine. If I haven't, could you bring it back on Monday, and I'll look at it on Monday. So anyway, we said, yes, that's fine. So off we trotted as fast as we could to get to the station. We missed the 2 minutes past 12 train, but Loriann and Larry had already told us what trains to get. These Americans told us which train to get and what time we'd be arriving in York. So anyway, we got the 12:07, which was the other time that they'd recommended. So we got the 12:07 train, and we arrived at 25 to 1. Met us at the station. So we had this lovely day with Loriann and Larry, and then they walked us back to the station and saw us onto the train, and off we went. And normally we would have gone to the car, but because the car wasn't there, I said to my husband, I said, oh, there's a little train goes from Darlington to our village. And I've only caught it once, and he's never caught it before. So I said, should we go and catch that little train rather than get a taxi? So we caught this little train, and from where you get off in the village, you have to walk. It's about a mile from where it is in the village to our house. So we walked home, and as we were walking home, he said, I wonder how many kilometres we've done, because we've got these kilometre things on our phones. And I said, I'll just have a look at it. And it said we'd done 8 kilometres. And I said, we've done 8 kilometres. I said, no wonder my feet are starting to hurt. So we walked all the way home, We were just walking up to the door of the house and he went, and I said, what's the matter? And he said, well, I haven't got any keys to get in the house. And I went, oh my goodness me. And he said, I've left them with Lee. I've left the whole bunch of keys, with the house key and the car keys, with Lee. So I said, oh golly, what we're going to do? And he said, don't worry, I've got Lee's phone number on my phone. His mobile phone number on the phone. I'll give him a ring and tell him what the problem is and ask him if he can possibly go to his garage and drop the keys back for us. So when he went to his phone was flat. So he couldn't find out Lee's number. He couldn't get Lee's number. So I'm going, well, what we're going to do? And this has happened 3 times that we've been locked out of our house, and once we had to we had to smash a glass to get through the kitchen door, but that was when I was a lot thinner, slimmer, and it was me that climbed through the window. And I said, well, I'm too big to climb through windows. And the time after that, we'd been to Amsterdam, and when we got off the plane, the airport is just down the road from here. It's about a 10-minute walk. We'd got back from Amsterdam to the airport here, and when we waited for our luggage, and then it didn't come, and they said, oh sorry, it's on the next flight, and the next flight isn't until tomorrow morning. And we said, oh, that's fine. And when we were walking back to the house, Brian suddenly said, oh, and I said, what's the matter? He says, the keys to the house are locked in the suitcase. So we had to go, on that occasion, we had a wooden front door, and we had to go across and borrow a drill from our neighbour, and we had to drill the Yale lock out on the front door, and we got in. But this time we've got a very expensive front door added onto our house now, so we couldn't do that. So he decided he'd go around all the neighbours and ask them if they had a phone charger that was like ours, but unfortunately our phone charger is different from everybody else's. And theirs are all little narrow ones, and this was a slightly wider one. It wasn't an iPhone, it's a Google phone. No, it's not a Google phone, it's a Nexus phone. So anyway, so then he said, I know. He said, there's a factory up the road. He says, we'll go to the factory and we'll ask them if they work through the night. It's where the container lorries go. He said, we'll go up to the factory and we'll ask if they've got any leads, if anyone's phones have got the same kind of lead. So off we trotted, and I was thinking, I was really, my feet were aching. And I said, I don't know if I can walk much further with my feet. I'm just dying to sit down. I need the loo. So anyway, I said, I'm not going in there. So he went in, and eventually he came out and he said, well, he says they've got 10 phone chargers and not one of them fits our phone, this phone. So I said, right, I said, what we're going to do? I said, I'll tell you what. I said, I've got 23% left on my phone. I'm going to ring for a taxi. It can take us to the nearest travel lodge and we'll stop there for the night. So we finally got this taxi to come, and then it drove us to the travel lodge, and we felt like a couple who were having a shifty night in the hotel. So I felt obliged to tell the ladies behind the desk what had happened. I said, now listen, I said, this is my husband here. I said, I'm not a shifty woman that's having a passionate night with him. I said, we explained the situation. And so anyway, the ladies they said, we'll give you a nice room. So they gave us a nice room, and by that time we were quite hungry, so we had to walk down to the pub, had a drink and a bag of crisps, and then came back and went to bed. The next morning we had to go and get a bus from the hotel into town, and finally got to see Lee, and he said, I haven't fixed it, but he said, golly, he says, the alarms are going off. He says, there's everything going off when you're inside. And we were saying, yeah, the alarms, the buzzers, the locks, the whole lot. So he said, bring it back on Monday. So we drove off, and it was beeping and banging, and the doors were clicking, open and shut, the little buttons were clicking open and shut all the way. And come Monday morning, I said to Brian, I said, we've got to take the car to get checked out by Lee. So we got into the car and turned on the ignition, and there were no clicks, no alarms, nothing. So we got to work and had to ring Lee up and say, sorry Lee, can't bring it because you need to find, there's nothing there to show you. So he said, well, next time, he says, tell me when it rings, it does it again. He says, and bring it round. So we went to work and it didn't work, it didn't go off. We came back and it didn't go off, and the Tuesday morning it went off again. But it only went off the Tuesday morning, it didn't go off. We went to work on the Tuesday, came back on the Tuesday night, and it went off again. Thursday morning to this morning, bing bing, knock knock, the whole lot's going again. So we're going to have to take it and get it checked out. So this is the joys of having computers in your car. You can sometimes get all sorts of things going wrong. So yes, we had a great time with Loriann, but my golly, I've talked for 12 minutes 55, so I'm going to stop there.